Good morning, ComicsGate. Good morning. Yeah. So had a couple of issues the past couple of days. Wasn't able to get a stream going, which was aggravating to say the least. But we're gonna keep it moving. We're here today. Good morning. Buenos dias. Let's see, I'm not sure if anybody's gonna join this morning. I'm waiting on Doc Hogg. He said he'd be a little bit late. He's going to be talking about Tilt 2. If you haven't gotten Tilt 1, I'm not sure. Let me see. I think his campaign might still be open for that. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Went to get breakfast tacos when I was taking the kids to school. And yeah, so I ordered 3 bean and cheese, and then I ordered 3 potato, egg, and cheese. And of course, I got, what was it? 3 carne guisadas and 3, I don't know what it was. It was some beef with onions and guacamole, or no, avocado. I don't know. I was just like, these people just don't. That's fine. I wasted money, but hey, whatever. Let's see. So now what are we looking for? We're looking for Tilt. Oops. Wait. Oh, come on. Sorry, my chest congestion has been acting up lately. Yep. It's still here, actually. Let's take a look at that. Go ahead and look at it. Stop screen. I'm gonna go ahead and share it. I have to share it with the audio or whatever. Oh, guess who's here? Hello. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Never better. Well, that's a lie, but I'm still pretty good.
Well, you're just in time. I was just about to show your trailer for the first book.
All right.
Man, so people can catch up on that before we get into the other thing.
Absolutely.
So let's go ahead and do that real quick. And my internet, of course. That's what I thought.
Shouldn't be restricted.
No, it's not you. It's the fact that I have an internet that has a whatchamacallit on it. So let me see if it'll work on Chrome.
Or I could try playing it on my end.
Yeah, you could. Let's see if
let me see if I can. Let me see if I can bring it up here.
Hey kids,
it's working.
Nacho Man Bulk Rogan.
Awesome.
Okay, it's working. Let's get it. All right.
Hey kids, it's Nacho Man Bulk Rogan. Do you want mobsters, murder, and women in tight spandex? Then today's your lucky day. From Hog Wild Comic, it's Tilt. What if you were Jennifer Poehler and mobsters were out to get you? Would you want the power to make kings, queens, and jacks in a deck of cards come alive to kick some ass? Of course you would. But what if the price of that power was killing the mobsters who murdered your dad? Could you do it? And more importantly, can Jennifer? Find out what happens to this sexy woman in danger and rush over to the Indiegogo. It's time to get tilted.
That the voice was done by a guy on Twitter. You can hit him up, Brainiac420. His price for you got to provide the script and the images, but then he'll provide the voice and put it together. Price is incredibly reasonable. And gosh, who was it? Gray Matter, I think, was the first one that at least that I saw who did it. And so if you're going to do a comic book campaign and you want a good short introduction to your comic, that's a good way to go. So
yeah, that's awesome. So now we've got the Tilt 2 the mail campaign here, the email campaign.
Yeah,
I signed up for this. Yeah, I did this, already because I enjoyed the first book definitely.
Oh, good.
Of course, one of our friends, Lenore, she was the one that did the colors on it, and I believe she's doing the colors on this book as well.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And she did a pinup last time, and we'll have another pinup from her this time around. It's actually going to be in one of the stretch goals this time. But if you want to share my screen, sure. I can run through some of the other things that she's done and some of the other perks that we're having.
Okay, no problem. Let's do that.
All righty. Yeah, well, this is the sign up page. And if you sign up, you will get a free Tilt magnet with your purchase. And I've actually, this is the cover for the standard cover for issue 1. And this is what the magnet is going to look like. It's going to be roughly a 3x3. Actually, I mean, closer to 3 by 2.5, since obviously this does not go, it's not even on the horizontal as it is on the vertical. But at any rate, I've actually already ordered the magnets. I'm pretty sure I've ordered more than enough of them, but hey guys, make me sweat. Sign up and see if I have to worry about it. I that would be kind of a good problem to have. That would be a good form of anxiety.
Yeah, you always want to need more, because it just shows that everybody's clamoring for it.
But you can put this on your refrigerator or whatever you do with your magnets. So yeah, you get a free magnet if you sign up. Let's see what else. This is actually the ink of the variant cover. FYI, the standard cover was done by a gentleman by the name of David Ocampo. The variant cover is being done by Vic King. And and so what you've got going on here, and I'll just switch over to here real quick. Rosetta Allen is doing the coloring, and she's kind of, I don't know, about halfway finished, but she's getting there. She broke her thumb, but she's still trying to work on it. So that's how hard my artists work for you. Even when they're injured, they're trying to come through. So
that's ComicsGate.
There you go. Just a lot of good people. But yeah, going back here, what you've got here, of course, is Jennifer, and then this is her dad. Her dad is trying to protect her. This is one of the mob assassins, Jack Tessio. And this guy here is actually drawn in the form of the spirit that gives, that her father, Larry, pleads to give her some protection and actually gives her the power to make the kings, queens, and jacks come alive. But the reason he's firing a gun here is it gets a little murky as to whether or not is he actually protecting her or maybe putting her in danger as well? And it's not clear cut, and that's kind of what why we chose this face here. It looks more like the spirit. So, Vic King, like I said, is doing the variant cover. You'll be able to purchase that or purchase both if you like them both. And this here is what one of the pinups that will be available for purchase, what I like to call Jennifer with junk in the trunk. This was drawn by Arch Sider, who did actually just kind of stumbled across him almost by accident. He sent me some fan art last time, and I liked it so much. I said, let's make it part of the let's talk about a price, and I'll make it part of the stretch goal. And it worked out really, really well. And this time I said, look, I like that so much. Why don't you do one that I'll actually sell? And you'll have this and another pinup that, oh gosh, hang on a second. I always mangle his name, and give me just a second here. Hopefully this does not crash. Oh dear. There we go. Yeah, Lakim Amir is doing the other pinup. We don't have art for that to show just yet. We probably will very soon. But he's doing the other pinup. I'm going to be selling those both for $5. And I'm also going to have an option where instead of a folded pinup, you can get. I'm going to be offering that pinup. I'll offer all the pinups that will be available at the stretch goals if we hit them, plus all of the pinups from last time that are not folded. You'll be able to get them in a poster. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, like 7 pinups really that will be available. It's going to be a limited number because the ones that Lenore did last time that she signed, I've only got a limited number of those left. So you're going to have that option as well. If you prefer them not folded posters, I'll mail them in one of those, plastic clear things. And this one will not be super cheap though, because mailing that stuff is kind of pricey. And but at any rate, it will be an add-on, an option you'll have available to you.
I can't remember if I've got the pinup that Lenore did.
Well,
I have to go look, but I mean, I could take it down there and have her sign it personally because I live,
Well, if you've got it, she already signed it. I sent them to her first and had her sign them. So
that's what I'm saying. I don't know if I do have it, but I'm going to look later.
Yeah. And I'm also this time in the deck. Last time I had a deck of cards, which you can see right here. And this was the back of the deck of cards. This was drawn by my main illustrator, Marcos Lima. It was colored by Lenore. And last time, the characters, like the King of Hearts, were just standard King of Hearts. This time around, the images are going to, for the characters, will be custom. So this here is the Queen of Hearts, drawn by Lenore King. She drew all the queens. You've got here the Queen of Spades, the Queen of Diamonds, and the Queen of Clubs. And these will be on the downside of the cards. And let's see, also have, this is going to be, this is part of Lenore's pinup. It's not the full thing. She's going to put all these in one of the pinups for the stretch goal, and she will sign it if we hit the stretch goal. And this is the King of Spades, also done by Lakem Amir. And also the King of Hearts. This will be another one of the images. And yeah, here we go. This is the Jack of Hearts. This was drawn by Jeff Craven, who did my variant cover last time. And here is the Jack of Spades. Going to be having them start in on the other two Jacks and the other two Kings here shortly. So I should have those hopefully in about a little bit, at least a little bit before I start the campaign. Here is, excuse me, some unfinished art. This is basically where Johnny Ricca, who is the head mobster, he's chewing out his subordinates who have not been able to find out what happened in the last comic when various mobsters got killed. This is Jack Tessio, and this is his friend Pietro, who is actually modeled on my brother. My brother bought the tier last time where you get drawn into the comic, and he is eventually going to have his head chopped off from the nose up. But not in this comic. I was trying to get it in. I kept running up against 32 pages. I finally called him and I said, would it be okay if you got your head chopped off in issue 3? Pretending like I was actually giving him a choice, but it worked. He said yes. So, but he's going to be in the comic. I've got a couple other people who bought tiers to get in the comics, and I'm going to have some of those tiers next time as well. And one or two of them will be specifically if a woman wants to buy, get drawn in. I know this is the I hate to use the term male dominated, but I will. But I mean, obviously not the main character, obviously not the extent to which the queens participate in all of this. But last time it might have been, it could have been done if a woman decided to choose one of the tiers. This time I want to be a lot closer to that equal opportunity standard if I can. So there will definitely be some of those that will work. So I don't want, I just don't want anyone thinking that if I'm a female, it wouldn't work for me to buy a tier. Buy it if you want to. We will work you in. Here is one of the opening scenes just before. This is where the main character Jennifer is doing kind of a striptease. She snuck into Johnny Ricca's birthday party, and you see her. She's got all the kings and jacks hidden under her hat, and she's going to throw them out, and there's going to be an entire attack here. And this is just as they realize the cards are. This is Johnny Ricca. This is one of the guys who's was drawn in that I'm calling Ronnie, and here is Johnny's kind of his lackey Benny, and they're all realizing, oh my God, what's going on here? And then I switch back to about 5 days prior, and then bring you up to this point. So yeah, what else? That's Queen.
That artwork is pretty good for those pages.
Yeah, it's nice, and very lucky I've got the artists that I do. And right now we've got pages 1 to 6 are all finished up to coloring, and I'm going to have them lettered this week. Lenore's starting. I've gotten another 12 pages are inked. Lenore's starting on those, and again, the plan is to have at least 16 pages done by the time I launch the campaign. Going to launch the campaign on October 19th. I initially said October 12th, but we had a few minor setbacks, and so it just made sense to push it back 1 week. And I sent that out, let all of the people who signed up know, and no one said anything about it. So I guess all of my potential customers are okay with it, which thank God they are.
Speaking of pushing things back, Johnny's Law was on Indiegogo, and we decided to pull back and go at it with some more promotion. I'm pulling more time out that I don't really have, but I'm putting it out there because I really want to get this book going. But it will be relaunched and somewhere around 3 to 4 months. So hopefully everything goes good. I have a question though. On that top panel on the right side, is that a statue that's standing there?
Which one? Right here?
Yeah, is that a statue?
No, that's going to be one of the. That's going to be a man who. It's one of the mobsters.
Okay, I was just asking because the scale, the scale's a little bit off. He seems way too big in that area, as far as the distance he is. But like she's scaled pretty much. I took a whole animation perspective class and all that, and that's comics is different because you can kind of get away with certain things, but in animation, if it's done wrong, then when they go to animate, let's say a person in a room or going through a window or whatever, then they have to go right back to the pipeline and go right back to that and redraw everything all over again. So so they're real sticklers about that. But certain times I notice certain things that don't, because that to me, I guess in the top panel looks like it's I'd say an 8 foot tall ceiling, or maybe
I see
9 foot.
I see.
And then on the second panel, if you look at the guys that are standing there, how close their heads are to the ceiling. So that's and if the guys in front at the couch stand up, their heads should be touching the ceiling. Yeah, so I mean but that's just sorry, but that's just the thing. I don't it looks great, and it's not going to matter really, honestly, because it's still a great looking panel, both of those panels, and it's going to tell the story. But that's just something I don't know why I always.
I actually appreciate that, because my sense of the spatial is not super good. I have to
Right.
where I live. I have to parallel park, and there are times when I have to pull in and out 7-8 times before I get it right.
Yeah,
So I'm not.
I'm at 3. That's my record. Is 3
Yeah.
times I got to pull out.
And so that's interesting. I'm gonna make a note. Smaller.
And then go back to the last page.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, so now this guy that's standing against the car, as a matter of fact, the guy, the next guy in front of him, well, that guy standing at the car, if he were up to the house, he'd probably be almost to that trim above the window. He would be about that tall. If he was stood up, if he was made to stand up and then he was scaled down, he would be that. So that means that the car's a little too big, but that angle is really, really good. So, I mean, it's all good. All he really needs to do, if he's gonna, like, if he's, I don't know, is he doing this digital? Or is he
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. So if he's doing it digital, he could just select him in the car and just shrink him down just a little bit.
Okay.
Because if you look at the car, the wheel and how close it is to the house, the car is like almost to the same thing. You know, it's like almost to the top of the window, and so the guy in front of him is actually like really tall. Like he's about 7 feet. You know, and then the other guy too, he's a little too tall. So if he really just selects all of them and shrinks them down a little bit, it'll look a lot better, and probably make it to where like the top of the roof of the car is down to, let's say, counting from the bottom window pane, 1, 2, 3. It should be down to about the 4th window pane up. 1, 2, 3, no, the 3rd window pane up. That's how like he could select the car and the person, because he can do it in digital, and then shrink it to where the roof of the car is about that small, and then adjust the other figures accordingly, and it'll look right. But
okay,
he can do what he wants. I'm just saying, like, that's just something I pick up on, and you know, I don't draw my own comics or anything like that. It's a long story, but the point is that I will see things like that, and that stands out to me, you know, now that I know, you know, what I'm looking at.
Well, no, that's good to know, because
but other than that, his perspective is really, really good. So
yeah. Well, I mean, there's always things to work on and improve, and you know, that's just not something I just look at it and I'm not, you know, I see, okay, this looks fairly, you know, this looks okay. You know, a guy standing up against a car, sometimes, you know, they're gonna, you know,
yeah, because he's already, if he stands up fully, he's probably about a good 2 feet taller than the car.
Yeah, and that would make
and that should be an SUV.
Yeah, so
yeah, so that would be it.
That's interesting. Yeah. Well, no, I look at it and I'm like, oh, okay, he's leaning against the car. The perspective looks okay to me. You know.
No, this perspective is great.
Where I wants it to be, and
yeah.
No, that's good.
The perspective is great. All that is the character scaling within the perspective, because the character definitely has a perspective itself. So, you know, within that it scales to a certain height. You know. But,
no, good to know. I appreciate that.
No problem.
So yeah, that's basically the comic. This time is, you know, last time I built it as the superheroes meet the Sopranos. This time it's more superheroes meet the Sopranos, and the Sopranos get whacked. Now you may be saying, am I giving away what's going on in the comic book? Not really, because, I mean, a little bit, yes, but we already know that Jennifer has to the price of having the power is she has to get rid of off the mobsters who killed her dad. And excuse me. So we already know that, you know, that's going to happen. But I am not giving away what's going to be happening toward the last third of the book. I will say this, that, you know, Jennifer's weaknesses are that she's somewhat reckless, somewhat impulsive, and that is going to lead to some pretty serious consequences for her.
I already have 2 theories, but I'm not going to
toward the end of this one, and it will lead into issue 3, where I will wrap the entire thing up. So, but yeah, it's going to launch on October 19th, which is 17 days from now. So, yeah, it's hail Edwin. How are you, sir?
Hail Edwin. Yeah, I already have two theories, but I want to see if I end up being right or not.
Well, you can tell your theories. I'll just say I can
okay,
just
well okay. So the whole premise being that she has to off the mobsters, right? Well, if she offs all the mobsters, and the detective or whatever is following the whole thing, then if they find out that she's the one doing it with the deck or not or whatever, then who's the only mobster that's left to off? And that would be her. Because anytime you take out all the mobsters, you become the mobster. I mean, like, I'm just saying in general, that's what happened. You become the mobster. Or the other theory is, when you were talking about the face of the spirit on the one guy with the gun, that those kings and queens, maybe they were real people at some point or something like that, and they did something that pissed him off, and so they've, I guess, maybe been trapped to do this for whatever, and so he's gonna somehow turn things around so that he can get his revenge on them and take them out or whatever, something like that. I don't know. Those are my two theories. But
very, very interesting, and that's all I'm going to say. Those are some interesting theories.
Yeah.
You may be disappointed. You may not. And that's all. That's as far as I'm going to take it.
You may be or you may not. It's okay. I'll just pummel you in DMs and find out.
Well, you're about to find out how discreet I can be then.
Okay, we'll see. I can be very persuasive. I have this deck of cards, and then when I throw them out, these kings and queens come out. So they'll be the ones to handle you. So
yeah, yeah, especially worried about the Jack of Hearts.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Yes.
So I have to say, I'm looking forward to the campaign. I really am. Last time it was just, you're kind of, there's sometimes you feel like biting your nails because, am I going to make it? Am I not? And, but when I finally did hit both the goals, the funding goal and then the stretch goal. This time, I'm trying some different things. I'm gonna, in addition to having the we're going to have 2 pinups available, going to have for purchase, going to have the cards, with the custom characters on them, going to have, plus the option to purchase. You'll be able to purchase issue 1 if you don't have it, but with a different cover. I was thinking about reissuing the standard cover for issue 1, but some people were like, no, make the people who actually got in on the ground floor feel like they got something special that other people, subsequent backers, will not be able to get. And so, yeah, that makes sense. And then, like I said, you'll actually have the option of purchasing all the pinups as posters, not folded. So that's I'm very interested to see how that works out. I have also been told that there are a number of potential customers out there who have been burned just enough by people who don't fulfill that when you do your second campaign, once they see that you fulfilled your first one, then they come on board. I'm very interested to see if that actually happens. And also, because this is my second campaign, now Ethan Van Sciver, says that he only does people who fulfilled once. Once I've fulfilled, now do I have a better shot at getting on his show? I'm going to push that hard. Doesn't mean I'll get on the show, but it would certainly be nice. At least I meet the minimum requirements now, right?
Right. Yeah, so that's definitely a thing. And one of the other things I suggest is like, join his channel, become a member of his channel, and talk, be there in streams, do some super chats. And it's not about giving him money. It's not that. It's just being visible, being visible, so that he knows that you're like a part of the community, and he's not like just somebody just coming up and asking, for something, where he knows that you participate regularly. They see you, and it makes somebody, I mean, anybody really, I mean, because when I got into YouTube, like, that's what I always, that's one of the things that they always tell you, is that, if you want to collaborate with somebody or whatever the case might be, which is a huge thing and something you should do on YouTube, excuse me. One of the things you don't do is you just come running in their channel and you post, people have these copy paste things that they post as comments, and, check out my videos or do this or whatever. But that isn't the way that it works. It has to be organic. So it has to be more like, they see you come, you make comments, and then they like your comments, and then, they see you come every once in a while, and, and you're liking videos, you're sharing videos, things like that. And then with the live streams, you're coming in, doing, you're talking to people in the chat, you're doing, super chats, and, who knows if he pops you a wrench, things like that. It's just so that they feel comfortable, and they know that you're not just coming in just so you can get something, done or looked at or whatever. But
no, do what you can with the tools you've got to network.
Exactly.
When I run my videos, and I'm probably going to start doing something called Comics and Variety Midday, where I go on for like 15 minutes, talk about a comic book or comic book related news, because putting up those videos, producing the videos takes time. I'm still going to do those, but it's just, if I can go on and do some commentary for 15 minutes, and I can do a few of those a week, you know what it is. I mean, you got to put up content on your channel to get the subscribers, and everybody's goal is to get to thousands of subscribers, and then you've got a potential much bigger customer base for your
product.
But what I've done is, I take people's comics who have campaigns on Indiegogo and so forth, and I promote them on my channel. I say, hey, these are comics that I back. Links are down below. This is, I tell people about them. I've done that. Retweet them on Twitter, or make up some of your own tweets about them. So you're trying to develop a bit of good feeling, and hopefully it gets reciprocated, and some of it will get reciprocated.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, okay, like when you're talking about, posting videos and content and all that, when you first, like, let's say when you first start, brand spanking new channel, right? A lot of people don't know this, but when you do start, YouTube actually gives you 90 days of a push. Okay. And this 90 days is you making content regularly, and especially when it sees the algorithms and it sees that you're posting consistently, right? It pushes you up, it starts recommending you, but it gives you that amount of time to do that. Now, when you do it, the way that I built my channel up was that because this was all about gaming before, or just a certain select games that I played. But anyway, what I did was I was putting out a video every single day, 7 days a week. And I did that for like 2 months. And then I got up to 1,000 subscribers.
Wow.
But like I said, it takes that. There has to be a good amount of good content, obviously, but consistent and when you're first starting out, daily. Now, even if you've already started the channel, it's been a while that you had it out. If you were to start doing daily videos, right, and you do this, it may take you like 4 months, but within that 4 months, you're definitely going to start getting eyes on you. So, and I guess since we're talking about this, is just, I guess, make this a whole little YouTube class. So that and collaboration, because it's just basically, I always use this term, I don't know why, but like cross-pollinating. So you have your audience and their audience, and they meet in the middle. And then those who say, oh, this guy's pretty cool, they jump over there and subscribe and still stay with the original, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So all you're doing is allowing each other's audiences to be exposed to both of you, and then you'll gain new followers that way, and you do it in a mass. So that, and then what you talked about, promoting other people's comics, most of the time it's about not promoting yourself necessarily, but promoting others. Whenever you put other people out there, it's the exact same thing as doing a collaboration video, okay? Because then those who may be looking for certain things, right? Or they're looking for that person and their content on their book, right? And say they've watched all of the videos that person makes, whether they be about SJWs, whatever, comics, so on. They're looking for it. They find you, and then they subscribe because they see that you're, cool with that person and their content. So, but then again, all of this is based on when you do your videos, tags and your description. The description box is supposed to be no less than 250 words in the description. That is, and all of this I learned because a long while back, years ago.
No less or no more?
No less than. A minimum. A long time ago when I started up my channel, there was some promotion going on for, I think it was $1 for 1 hour consultation with someone from Social Blade. And Social Blade does, data and analyzing for, YouTube and stats and all that. And anyway, it was supposed to be 1 hour. She ended up staying on with me for like 4 hours. But we went over my channel and my graphics that she said looked professional and all that, because I do graphic design. So she said that was a big thing. That was good because it gives you it's like talking in a room. When you have a distinct voice, everyone can hear you a lot better and they take more notice. It's the same thing with your covers, with your graphics. Then she told me about the 250 words in the description, and she said because Google actually reads that, right? And not only do they read it, but the way that you write it should be what you're saying in the video. So in other words, keywords from what you say in the video, but also if you had a script that you wrote, you can write even just a portion of the script, right? And they will read it, but it also reads, because it does automatic subtitles, right? It will read what is being said in the video, and then it matches it up. Then it uses that information to then categorize you, to put you where you belong. And then it puts you into the search results that way, right?
Okay.
And then tags, which a lot of people don't do. Like if you're, let's say you're Ethan Van Sciver, right? You don't necessarily need tags at that point, because you're building your audience just because of who you are, first of all, right? And what you have. But if he added tags, he probably would add a whole lot more subscribers, at least if he added tags that were relevant, right? Because I use this thing which I recommend people use called TubeBuddy, and TubeBuddy is free, but there's also a paid version, but it lets you do keyword searches, but it also displays to you when you look at a YouTube channel, it tells you what tags were used in that video.
You said TabBuddy or Tab?
No, TubeBuddy. Tube, like YouTube,
okay.
TubeBuddy. And so it'll show you those tags, but then when you look, let's say if you put cat, it's a cat video, you put cat as a tag. That is not a good tag, because that tag is it's so saturated in its use, and it's not going to be picked up that way. So what you would do is, what is the cat video about? I put him in let's say a witch's costume or something for Halloween, right? you know, my cat flies around the room as a witch or something, you know, just you come up with something that's unique. And then you can take that title of the video and even make that as your one of your tags. And so if you do that and your tags and you know, see which ones have, and it tells you a percentage of how good it will be to use as opposed to how oversaturated it is. And you want the more unique ones. And that's what's going to help to draw to your channel and to that video specifically. And then also things like tagging, like let's say I make a video, right? And I tag people like Comic Artist Pro Secrets, John Malin, Cecil, you know, things like that. The Jack Show. If you tag those things in there as well, what it's going to do is it's going to look at that and it's going to know that you're associated with those channels, so that anytime their videos are suggested, yours may be suggested as well, right? Like in the little sidebar, the feed on the sidebar, you know. So, and that's all you're doing really, essentially, when you're doing these things is giving the algorithm, or the bots rather, giving the bots the information they need to find out where to place you. That's all they want to do, is find out where to place you. And if you do that, then that helps a lot. And then if it's a video, now when a video comes and for some reason, like Anna was talking about the other day, her old Henry Cavill video that is just going crazy and getting all these views, right? Well, it could be something in her tags maybe, but the point is that when it goes up like that, then all of a sudden they say, why is this, what is happening? They're asking each other, the bots, you know, and then, okay, well, it doesn't belong here. Let's move it over here. So they move it into the suggested, move it to where, like, everybody needs to see this because, you know, we've already been programmed. If it gets a certain amount of views, we need to put it over here. So put it over there. And then that in and of itself makes the view count go up, and that makes the watch time go up. Watch time is really important for each of your videos. And so that ends up being the factor that makes it more viral, you know. But yeah, there's definitely a system to it, you know. But it's something that there's videos for it. As a matter of fact, when you go on your YouTube studio to look at your channel, there's videos down there at the bottom, and a lot of times, you know, people see them, they may not think anything of it, but you could cycle through them and look at them, and there's plenty of videos in there that say all the same stuff. You know?
Okay. So all the tricks and all the secrets and all the things that help you build the
Yeah.
subscribers faster. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I did watch some of those early on in my channel, and I tried to follow some of the stuff, and it just didn't seem to be making that big of a difference. I mean, the main thing was just putting out content, and I've been trying to, because
Right.
I've had, you know, I had to fulfill the campaign. And I've had a number of things go on during the summer that's just really slowed me down, and I've just been
Right.
trying to figure out what can I do here to do more content. And
Right.
but you know, like doing the 15-minute midday thing like 3 times a week, plus, you know, if I could put out 2 regular videos, I have a Tuesday show. Yeah, I could do something. I could put up something just about 7 days a week. So
Well, you know the adage where they say, you know, it's better to do the correct technique 100 times than the wrong technique 1,000 times, right? So content is good. If you just do a lot of content, right? If you just do that, that's why I mentioned all the different pieces to the puzzle. If you just do content as one of the pieces, and you do it consistently, and you do a lot of it, you're bully footing your way in to the algorithm to an extent. So you're going to get a lot more subscribers, you're going to get a lot more views. But because those other parts are integral and they all work hand in hand, what's going to happen is you're going to hit a plateau. And then you'll only get to a certain amount of subscribers, and then you'll wonder why why can't I go past this number? Like, why am I not gaining any new subscribers?
Now with
That-
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I'm saying, but so you've already been given the boost that you're going to be given because you're making consistent content, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, the bots say we still don't understand the content, though. We still don't know what. I mean, we know people are watching it. We know people are seeing it. We're recommending it because it's there, but where does it go? Like, what is it about? You know? And it's like Michael Scott, you know, explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old, you know? So that's what the bots want you to do. They want you to put these things in there to explain to them, you know. I myself, you know, even get lazy and just like, you know, and I put a little description and I don't really write very much else. But like you said before about taking, you know, that these things take time, they do. I mean, that's the one caveat to this whole thing is that it all takes time. You know, there's a lot of time invested. And I know because my channel is now down to 5.3K in subs when it was at almost 6K. But that was because I stopped making content and because I switched the content of the channel. I mean, I did a complete 180. It was games and stuff and had a totally different name. And then I switched it over. But all this does, though, is tell me, you know, unfortunately, how many people are subscribed to me that out of, you know, at least 3,000, 4,000 that don't actually watch my videos anymore. You know, I mean, I have videos that are at like freaking, I think I've got at least 1 or 2 that are, I think, at 100,000 views or more. And then I have other ones that are 60, 80,000, you know. But those are a few years old, of course, but those are videos that are, what do you call it? Those are videos that were like related to the game that I did, the games that I did before, because I used to play DC Universe Online, and DC Universe Online, you know, you can make your own characters, and you know, you get these power sets that are similar to the characters that you want to make. And then there's all sorts of gear and things that you can, you know, purchase and dress your character up and so on and so forth and customize them. Well, there's a lot of gear that you can use to customize them to look like they're, you know, quote unquote, real world counterparts, like real world comic book and movie versions. So that's when I started to do a series called Build a Tune. And so I was like just going in and making, like, let's say the armored bat suit from Batman versus Superman and things like that, you know. So I'm doing that, and people like to see that. They like to see what it is, what are the pieces, how do you get them, you know, and all that. And so those were, I guess, relatively, I mean, it did take a lot of work, but compared to anything else, you know, relatively easy to make. And but people loved it. I mean, they just loved it. But I got bored with the game, and I didn't feel, because if I could just go in and I was able to just get all the pieces without having to do anything for it, then that'd be different. I'd probably still be making those videos. But because you have to do that, you have to have a membership, you know, every month so that you can have access to the newest, you know, I guess we call them episodes, the newest episodes of content that has newer gear, that may have the gear that can make you look like proper Firestorm or whoever, you know what I mean? So, but then you got to go and you got to level your character up in order to get into those raids, and, you know, and be able to get the gear you want, you know.
Interesting. What now on your live videos, you go back and put in the tags?
I'm sorry. Yeah. Go back and do that.
Okay. All right. I will keep that in mind. I will start doing that on my live videos. All right.
Yeah. You do them on live. You do them on your regular videos. I mean, a lot of people don't do them on lives. But I figure if you're going to leave those lives up, then it's probably best. And it's not too difficult when you have like your base tags, like let's say, you know, the Comic Artist Pro Secret, Ethan Van Sciver, John Malin, ComicsGate, or comics, even things like ComicsGate is a hate group. those types of things you put, and then you have those as your basic ones. And once you know how many tags you're actually allowed to put in, then you just you save them somewhere in a file, and then you just copy paste them, and then add the newest ones for the relevance to what the video actually is, and always make a tag of the title of your video. Just copy it and paste it in there, and make that a tag, because people used to do specific words, which they do still work, but it's about keyword phrases. Right? Phrases. Yeah. So the keyword phrases, so things like newest ComicsGate shenanigans, things like that, just something that you would think someone would look up, and sometimes people do put words, right? But that's when you say what words, common words, would they put together in a search, right? And just put all of them into a phrase. In other words, you would type the word space, and then hit the comma, which makes it into the tag, and make that as the tag with those 3 words, so that it's more like a phrase, and it's just a little bit more detailed, I guess. I'm not sure how to say it, but yeah, I mean, that's like the gist of all of those things that matter, and people make the mistake of putting tags in their description, which you used to be able to do, but now I see it every once in a while still, but you're not supposed to do that. And actually, what the lady told me was that Google and YouTube will penalize you. What they'll do is they'll put you lower in the search. Which you're not supposed to do. It's like a form of cheating, because the description box is where the bots are supposed to read to find out what your video is about. And if you add tags to that box, then it's like automatic. They know way better what to do with the video, and that's cheating. That's not fair. So they don't allow you to do that anymore. But yeah, so
interesting.
Yeah, it's all a matter of just research too. There's lots of different channels that talk about stuff like this, blogs and articles. The only problem with that is that some of these channels will they do this whole thing where it's just like this one little tip, and then they put all this crap around it instead of just telling it to you. They set you up and they say, well, have you ever wanted to blah, blah, blah. And they go through this whole spiel before they ever actually tell you the tip, only to find out I knew that already,
Yeah. Or the tip doesn't seem that great kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I mean, YouTube is, doing stuff is really fun. I mean, I think that live streaming tends to work a lot better in some cases, just because. Hold on. Oh, okay. That was Jez. She was gonna come in, but I think she's restarting her tablet. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, that's all the stuff that I've been able to gather over time, but it definitely takes a lot of time and effort.
Yeah,
it's pretty much becomes almost at least if you're trying to make something of it, it becomes a full-time job.
Yeah, it's at times it seems like I definitely have a second job. So yeah.
And I mean, I wasn't making a gang of money either. I mean, I was making like $100 every 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's not a lot, but then I've talked to people that have bigger channels than me, right? And this was years ago. I talked to people who had bigger channels than me, but they didn't even make that much. And then I'm like, well, you may want to be looking at your tags and stuff. Like, you have the subs, but the problem is you're probably not getting the watch time or the views, and people are not being pulled to your videos as much because you don't have your your tags and your description and all that stuff set up.
Well, some of the bigger channels, I mean, something else that you can do is you can always right click on your mouse and go to view page source and see the code, and in there, like some of the channels that do get tons of views, see what they do, what do they do with their with their tags. Obviously, the description you can always see without the view page source, but that's one thing I would do is go in and look at tags. I noticed earlier, like Richard Meyer doesn't have any tags in his, but then
No.
I mean, he doesn't need those to sell, to do
when you
six figures on his comics. So.
Right. Well, the thing is because when he came in to the video game, he basically walked into a dark room with a flashlight, and he just happened to have that flashlight, and no one else did, and he turned it on, and that's what attracted everyone to him. So sometimes it is the content. Sometimes the content will pull people, but where he is right now,
he absolutely got in on the ground floor on that. So,
but where he is right now, though,
a bit of luck.
But where he is right now, though, he'd have way more if he did have tags and if he did have the description down and things like that, and a couple of the other little things that I was saying. So if he did, he'd push, because he's already like kind of hitting a plateau, because I don't think his subscriber count has shot up in proportion to how much he's making. And what I mean is like the amount of books that he's selling, which is good, but I mean, I don't know if it's I don't think that the growth is there on his channel that reflects it. I mean, it's great that he's growing, but he could grow even more, and especially someone who's very OCD about things. I would have thought he would have, though. I would have thought he'd been the first person to have tags and description and all these things, because he's so particular about all these things, but then again, it may just be because he may not know, or he may not realize that how, like, what value it is. But then again, being Zach, he's probably going to say, it doesn't matter. I make money and I sell books now, so it doesn't matter whether I have, that or whatever. So, but I mean, it's fine, because as long as he has the amount of backers that he needs to sell, a certain amount and keep himself paid, then hey, I mean, it's okay. We also don't want to like obsess, you know what I mean, to the point of we got, oh man, I'm losing subscribers. And like every once in a while, Ethan's like, he's like, oh, I'm doing live streams, I lose subscribers and so on and so forth. Which I guess he is losing some, but I also think it's because of the other things. Because once you put out a live stream, like even when you do the live stream, if you go into the back studio and you add tags, you're going to bring in more people just simply by adding those tags while you're live streaming. Oh, look who just came by. It's my boy, Canales. Welcome, Mr. Ibai Canales.
What's up, guys?
How are you, sir?
Not bad, thank you. I'm overworked as always, but that's a good thing.
Who isn't overworked these days?
Right, exactly.
I got up this morning and it's like, editor's like, we got to write up a piece about Trump. I need you to call some doctors and find out how they would treat him. I'm like, oh boy. So I have to call up doctors early in the morning. Hope I'm not waking them up. And
welcome, Jess, to the stream.
Hello,
Hi.
Internet.
Hello, Jess.
How are we all doing this morning? Yes, it's morning because my tablet is like an hour ahead.
This bright, sunny Trump COVID morning. Yeah, we're doing pretty good.
Morning
for me.
Oh gosh.
It's afternoon for me. That's where I'm at. So.
If 2020
you
has
were
gotten
roboting.
any worse, insane.
I mean, hey,
And
it is what it is. I mean, it's not like he's invincible or somebody. As much as people might want to think he is, but but people can get it. I mean, I guess. I don't know. I guess he has it. So I don't know.
yeah, so I'm going to try to make an effort to stay away from Twitter for about
2 weeks.
14 days or so.
Forever.
Maybe even longer, because now we're starting to get into the home stretch of the elections, and
Yeah.
I believe next week I'm going to, if it's still on, watch the vice presidential debates with Kamala and Mike Electric Fence Pence.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't know. I have not been watching any of that stuff, and I mean,
I'm
to me,
I'm
it's just whatever. I don't
yeah.
even.
I'm surprised that I'm still mentally sane from watching the presidential debates.
But are you? How would you know you have gone insane for watching the debate?
I had to. I
I don't
had to
know.
watch it. I had to watch it for work, and I know I'm not sane anymore, and I've just accepted it. I'm happy. Happy living in my own little
I
world.
think I lost my sanity a long time ago, and I just didn't notice it.
Well, I mean, you like Canales, so obviously that makes it much more obvious.
Yeah.
Poor
You have
Canales.
to be insane to like me. No, that's
Well, actually,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not the insanity. It's more that we like to bounce. We're kind of bouncing our autism off each other.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I
We,
was gonna say.
our autism feeds off each other's autism.
Yes.
It's like some kind of weird Mengelian twin thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Very tasty.
Autism jokes. I'm not offended. That's another reason why I'm staying away from Tumblr. Tumblr, Twitter. It doesn't even matter anymore because they become one in the same. Ever since
No,
Tumblr
that's what I was going.
stopped, put a kibosh on the porn.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Not much difference
Yeah.
between Tumblr and Twitter these days.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because all
because
the
here
fat
come
blue hair.
and here come the maps and all this other stuff. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
all they did was
Did
all
did
they
you guys
do is
see
just
that?
migrate from one to the other. So it's like it's not any, you know.
Did you guys see
Mhm.
that Mitch Dyer person? I was going to say dude, but I googled him, and he looks like I don't know what that thing is. And he proudly promoted one of his creations, one of his Star Wars characters for he's an actual official Star Wars writer, and he promoted them as a person with plural pronouns because it's really important now that Star Wars
Oh,
characters.
Everyone
you
has
talking
to
about
have
Chuck Wendig?
No, Mitch Dyer,
Oh, okay.
the lady
I've
boy.
not seen that.
Because
I've
I'm
not
not sure
seen that.
if he's like a soccer mom trying to pass for a young kid, or I don't know, a young kid who had too much soy in his breakfast. I don't know. I don't know what the creature is.
What is his mouth like inhumanly wide open?
Oh,
His mouth is kind of inhuman. His or her teeth are really oddly placed. I don't know. I feel weird
terrible
unease
dental
when I
care
look at his
mainly.
pictures.
Terrible. They don't care. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, another reason why I'm staying away from Twitter is because, I'm transgender. No, I don't want to say transgender anymore. I'm transsexual in process of getting my surgeries and stuff. And somehow I was talking to another fellow trans man, and apparently I must have kicked a hornet's nest. And now all the little radical trannies are jumping on my comments.
Oh.
Oh shit.
Who is
Yeah.
the one you were talking about though? Sorry, Jess. The writer you said?
Mitch Dyer
Mitch. Okay.
with a
Oh
Y.
no, you're going to Google him, aren't you?
No, I'm gonna
Well,
feed me.
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know
feed
what
me
the
him.
thing is. That's the point.
Hey, Jez, I'm very curious. Could I ask, are you going from man to woman or woman to man? And you don't have to answer that if you want to tell me to buzz off, but
Male to male.
female to male?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes, we're all waiting. We're all waiting to see when that happens.
Well, I'm not. Unfortunately, I'm not going to do the full. I've made a decision not to go the full way with the hormones, so I'm going to remain more of like a very feminine looking man still.
Well, you know, as long as you don't lose that sexy, cute voice and begin to sound like Sam Elliott, I'm cool.
Okay. What's
Well,
wrong with Sam?
to some people, Sam Elliott has a very sexy voice.
No,
I
he
know.
does have a
Yeah.
he does have a very sexy voice, but you know, I just
In fact,
think that his voice is much sexier as it is now.
I'm
A
thinking
sexy
about.
voice and an even sexier mustache, except I believe
Ah.
recently he shaved it off and it's not working for him. Grow back the stash, Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
yeah.
Why would you do this, Sam Elliott? Why would you shave your stash? Come on, man.
Yeah,
I know it's
sexy
2020,
stash
but
and
still.
sexy mustache.
My oh, okay, cameras off. Let's not jump to conclusions, gentlemen.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I'm all right now.
Okay. Feel better?
Yeah.
Okay, Doc. Deep breaths.
Woo! Some water.
Yes. I'm just relaxing because I was doing my exercise routine earlier and drinking maca milk.
Let's add. Hold on, I wanna check something out.
What's in your exercise routine? I'm curious because I need to really get on one.
Well, I do a workout from this little Asian girl called Chloe Tang. It's on
Chloe Tang.
YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a website too where she outlines all her exercise routines. I'm doing I don't have my phone.
Oh Lord.
Oh my.
Can we just talk about this for a second?
What did we do to deserve this?
Oh my god.
Reminds me of me, you know. You like my shirt, by the way?
Hold
Take
on.
a close look.
Oh, nice. I love it. I
Buffalo
love
Bill's
it.
body lotion.
I love it.
the lotion on its skin.
Or it gets the hose again.
It
Yes,
puts
it
the
does, Precious.
lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again.
Yes,
Mhm.
it does, Precious.
It puts the lotion in the basket. There's actually a song. If you ever want to listen to a cool tune about Buffalo Bill, look up Lotion by the Greenskeepers. Yeah,
Lotion.
the Greenskeepers.
Okay, but let's talk about how Cecil is double cheeked up here on a Friday afternoon. And the fact that and the fact that he's supposed to be wearing a thong, but you can't actually see it.
It got sucked into the fat.
Yeah,
buried in there.
it's buried betwixt the cheeks. And is this hair or are these like?
I'm praying.
Is this
I'm
acne?
praying that it's her.
I
Because
want
the alternative is too horrible.
It looks like ingrown hairs, you know.
a little bit.
Yeah, hold on. And then the fact that I wonder how many rounds of ammo he can fit in those titties. Like, because those things are cocked and loaded, like they're ready to go. And that hand, look, the mere fact, the fine, unique specimen that Cecil is, that his left hand has a thumb that faces the opposite way.
It's a special thumb. It's
a very special thumb. I wonder what he uses that for. So
I think I have an idea, but I don't want to go into it and let's just scar all your minds. But what I'm trying to figure out is the spine. The spine is literally like a
he
like
has
a C.
he has what is that? Spinal bifida or multiple
No,
sclerosis or I, what is it?
scoliosis.
Because he's got one scoliosis. That's what I was thinking of. Scoliosis, and then he's got like one. He's got a Hunchback of Notre Dame thing going on with his right shoulder blade.
But then
Or
it's
is that wait no
like a mile.
wait.
Or is it the
That's his
elephant
arm.
man?
That's his arm. I
It-
think that's what it is. I think that's his
that's his
arm is
arm?
like cocked up, like supposed to be cocked up on his hip, which apparently I guess his hip is way higher on that side. I don't know.
And speaking of hips, I
Yeah.
just want to draw attention to his luscious ass. I don't think he has any right to have an ass that plump.
Mm.
And
Oh my
well,
God!
I don't know
That's
how
what
to
I
feel
said.
about
Like
it.
I want to say that he definitely wins the Dicky Doo award, which is where, that's where your belly sticks out further than your Dicky Doo.
yeah, we also call that the booty do,
There you go.
where the stomach
I'm
sticks
sorry.
out more than the booty do.
Is it wrong that once I looked at Cecil's ass, I immediately imagined him someone like refacing Cecil's face onto Nicki Minaj for Anaconda?
Wrong.
If it's
Yeah.
not going to be
It's
me,
wrong.
someone else better do it.
Cecil don't want none if he don't have buns.
He don't want. I don't want none unless Cecil got buns, Hans.
Yeah,
All right.
and he's got
Oh
them buns,
my
man.
god! Look at
He
that
is-
ass. Oh my god!
Oh,
Look at that ass.
That's-
He is like that's like I just wonder what kind of yeast they used because them things are like baked up.
No, Alex. Cecil does not just have cake. He has a whole fucking bakery back there.
Oh shoot, a whole panaderia back there, man. He's got everything back there. He walks up. He's like, "¿Quieres pan dulce?"
Pan dulce.
And then he'll put some milk in your coffee too.
Oh,
This is taking a really dark turn all of a sudden.
Yeah.
yeah. I might have to go off camera and mute it again here. And there. So be careful. Be careful.
Yeah,
Not there yet. Be
I may have
careful.
to go off camera and just cry, quietly
Yeah.
cry for a few minutes.
Oh, I'll definitely be shedding a tear or two.
Here, I can make it better. I can tell Canales all the things I would like to do to a little commie insurrectionist. Like,
Well, yeah, all right, yeah, that should cheer me up.
okay, Canales.
Meanwhile, though, why is it? He looks like that's like the strangest, gayest ninja I've ever seen in my life. with that jelly ninja mask that he's got on. Wow, and his lips go to the side of his head.
I think he looks like a porn parody of El Santo.
Yeah. And he's got like has he become a cyclops now? Because it looks like he's only got one eye.
Oh my god! I just thought of the perfect title if it was a porn. Ninja from the Bear Clan or Attack of the Bear Clan Ninjas.
Yeah, with BARE, bear.
No, bear like the animal, but also
okay.
bear.
Or
in the
just-
gay
or
Like
just-
no clothes, yeah.
Or just
Oh,
bright,
I don't know about that. Okay, yeah, that's
or
not
just
my
bright
bad.
lights, big titties.
No,
Oh
big
my
ass
goodness.
big titties.
Oh my goodness.
Cecil does your sanity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cecil does ComicsGate. Oh my goodness.
Someone's
Wow.
gonna make that.
Well, it's almost 1 here, and I kind of need to get back to work. So
Yeah,
I may have to
yeah.
I may have to bow out, which I don't want to do. This is enormously fun, but thank you so much for having me on my show to talk about Tilt 2. If you haven't signed up yet, please do. And yeah, thanks again, and I will be back. And once Johnny's Law is up, you're welcome to come on my show anytime.
All right, no problem. You got it.
Bye, Jez. Bye, Canales. Thank you very much.
Bye. Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Hey,
Doc.
you.
Have a good one.
You too.
You too. Yeah, have a good one. So, here we are. Anything
So
you
yes,
guys
Canales,
got on your
imagine-
mind? Go ahead. Yeah, tell him. Matt, set the
Ah,
scene.
yes. Canales, imagine. It's a snowy winter night. Somehow we are outside taking a nice walk as the snow gently falls on the ground. Suddenly, out of nowhere, it's Vladimir Lenin.
So we meet
He
again,
comes at
Vladimir. Sorry, I forgot we were on roll.
He comes toward us, spouting all the horrible, spouting communist nonsense. And then, you know what I do? I trip his ass, and he falls and he cracks his head open on a wrought iron park bench.
And he goes, "Oh, I hate it when that happens."
No.
No. All right.
And then we carefully lift him off the park bench to the nearest curb. And then, do you know what we do? We look into each other's eyes with such passion, burning passion. And then we curb stomp the motherfucker.
Oh my
American
that is-
history
that is-
style.
That is one sexy fantasy. You should totally record that. I'm sure you could make some money off of it. And if you is there like a genre of pastas about people being
Yes,
the shit out of commies? They just if there is, I mean, you're gonna make a lot of money.
Well, if there's plenty of punch Nazis ones, then yeah, I would think that it goes the other way.
Yeah, I mean, if someone narrated to me like a story about a commie his teeth knocked off with a sexy voice, like
Right.
a sexy telephone operator voice, that would be really cool. I mean, I would even pay for it. So I don't know, maybe, yes, maybe that may be like an untapped market.
Well, let's
Maybe.
look at some news here real quick.
Oh
It says
boy.
NYPD offers
Yes.
$2,500 reward for information on man who
No.
assaulted Ghostbusters actor Rick Moranis. Who in the hell would do such thing?
No,
They said
Who would do
everyone
such a
likes
thing?
Rick Moranis.
That's Bob
dude,
McKenzie.
Yeah, I don't even understand this. So it says NYPD are offering a reward up to $2,500 for information who assaulted Ghostbusters Rick Moranis on the morning of October 1st, 2020 in the vicinity of West 70th Street, Manhattan. In a video shared to the NYPD Crime Stoppers Twitter page, a black man wearing an I Heart New York sweatshirt. Obviously, you don't. If you assaulted that New Yorker, you obviously don't. Is seen viciously punching a man now confirmed to be Ghostbusters actor Rick Moranis in the head. The punch knocked Moranis to the ground. Well, I mean, you know, Rick's never really been much of a fighter, but let's see if we can watch this video here. Let me reshare this with the audio on. Stop screen.
In the immortal words of Bob and Doug McKenzie, what a hoser.
Oh my gosh, that's a deep cut. Hold on, let's see here. Strange, wasn't that from Strange Brew, the guys that did that bit on SNL a long time ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Great White North.
Okay. Oh no, there's no audio anyway.
Take off, eh?
Okay. Where's okay. Oh, is it just it's just the guy himself. I thought it was the actual
Dude.
event that happened. That's weird. I don't know. Well, obviously he looks young, so he probably doesn't even know who the hell Rick Moranis is. You know, I mean, if he did, I guarantee you he would not have done that.
I mean,
Or he would have just done it for the heck of it too.
Maybe, but I don't know. It says, as reported by CBS 2 in New York, Moranis went to the hospital with pain in his head, back, and hip. They also note that Moranis did visit the precinct in order to report the crime. People are asking for anyone who has information on the attack, call 1-800-577-TIPS. You know,
Spaceballs.
maybe he should have used the Schwartz on him. Moranis is known for his role in Spaceballs, where he played Dark Helmet. He also played Wayne Zelinsky in the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids franchise, and Louis Tully in both Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2.
he's
He also
probably
played,
probably one of the most adorable people alive.
yeah,
Mhm.
and he just did a commercial with
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, he did.
Oh yeah,
And it was good because it like really played to like his current way of doing things, where he really hasn't been in anything in so many years. Because if for those that don't know, his wife died, and I can't remember if it was she died from cancer or what it was, but she died, and so he had his 2 kids, and then that's when he just left acting altogether, because he wanted to focus on taking care of his kids and grieving over his wife and everything. And so he
that's
had,
so wholesome. That's incredibly
Yes,
wholesome. I mean, how many
exactly.
Hollywood actors would
Yeah,
do that? He's like a,
Exactly.
In the article, his wife Anne died from breast cancer in '97.
Yeah, and ever since then, or right after that, that's it. He didn't do anything else. No movies, no TV, nothing. And then he came back to reprise the Dark Helmet role just for like a dream sequence in what is it, the Goldblums or something, some TV show.
Goldberg.
The Goldbergs, yeah, the TV show, and then of course he did this commercial recently, but it's kind of played to the like what am I doing here? Like why am I here? Because he doesn't want to do any of the stuff anymore. So it's just that probably appealed to him, where it's like, okay, you get to be yourself, and then you also get to, be in your current mood of what is all this? I don't really even care, So, but yeah, it says the actor spoke to Hollywood Reporter back in 2015, where he explained why he turned down a role in 2016 Ghostbusters remake, which so glad that he did. Moranis stated, "I hope it's
explain anything about why he wouldn't want to be in it."
Exactly. It's like, I hope it's terrific, but it just makes no sense to me. Why would I do just one day of shooting on something I did 30 years ago? Moranis also told Hollywood Reporter that he isn't retired after he took a break from acting to raise his 2 kids after his wife Ann died from breast cancer in 1997. He stated, "I took a break, which turned into a longer break, but I'm interested in anything that I would find interesting. I still get the occasional query about a film or television role, and as soon as one comes along that piques my interest, I'll probably do it." Moranis then detailed he had no regrets backing away from Hollywood in favor of raising his children. "I was working with really interesting people, wonderful people. I went from that to being at home with a couple of little kids, which is a very different lifestyle. But it was important to me." He says, "I have absolutely no regrets whatsoever. My life is wonderful." And of course, yeah, when he did Little Shop of Horrors, he was great in that. As for how the break happened, he detailed it wasn't a formal decision. It began in an already busy year where I declined a film that was being shot out of town as the school year was beginning, but I was fortunate to be able to continue to make a living writing and doing voice work in Manhattan. He then explained, "Stuff happens to people all the time, and people make adjustments, change careers, move to another city. Really, that's all I did." And he's expected to reprise his role as Wayne Zelinsky in Shrunk. So he's coming back for that. All right. Well, and he must have found that one really interesting, at least something that he was willing to do. I wonder, though, if they do this one that son is doing, if he is going to make a cameo in that as well. Just because it's supposed to be more towards the original, like, and not the crap they were doing in that 2016 one,
I'm already disappointed with there's going to be a sequel to the live action Lion King.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, isn't that one that Well, I am all of a sudden forgetting his name. Mandalorian
Pedro
producer and
Pascal.
director. The producer and director. Well, he
John,
did
John Favreau.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
John Favreau. Yeah, John
Favreau.
Favreau. Yeah. Isn't that? Didn't he do the first live action one?
I thought he did only the Jungle Book. I didn't
No,
recall.
I think he also did the Lion King because if he made money the first time, why wouldn't they commission him all
Yeah.
the live action remakes? No?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, and also speaking of Little Shop of Horrors, I hope when they find that guy who beat Rick Moranis down, they feed him to a mean green mother from outer space.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
very good and very. I think that would be justice served cold. Yeah. Here's the one of the stills from Ghostbusters. That was Ghostbusters 1, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
With Dana, I'm sorry, Zool, because
Zool,
there is no
yeah.
Dana,
There's no
only
Dana.
Zool.
It's only Sue.
There's only Zool.
This is why I
Yeah,
like
and
this.
I like how Rick is looking like, I actually talked to her. It was New Year's. Oh God, I can't even remember the year. It was so long ago. But my mother had a friend whose daughter was marrying Sigourney Weaver's, I think marrying his son or some relative of hers or something like that. And so it was New Year, and then she called to talk to her mother, and then her mother was talking, and then she was like, "Oh, Sigourney Weaver's here," and Sigourney Weaver's dad was there, and then they, everybody got on the phone and was talking, and so I talked to her. I was like, "I like your movies and all that." That was so long ago.
You actually spoke to Sigourney Weaver?
Yeah.
That's cool.
She was really nice too. Like, I mean, she didn't, I mean, I was young, but I could still remember, like, I could tell that, she didn't act all like Hollywood, superstar. And she asked me, like, what I like to do. And, I told her I like ninjas and and Kung Fu. And then she's like, oh, I worked on movies, we had to learn a little bit of fighting and stuff like that. So, yeah, so she was pretty cool. Yep.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah, she was actually pretty good in the what was it, Defenders? The Defenders.
Oh
TV
yeah,
show
she was
on
the main
Netflix.
guy in the Defenders. Yeah.
The villain. Yeah, I can't remember what Marvel character it was, but yeah, she was in that. She was pretty good actually. Let's see what else. If there's anything else good that's going on here. No one cares about that. Oh, here we go. Report: Marvel Studios wanted to stay true to the character in casting Miss Marvel actress Iman Vellani. Well, I would hope so. I would hope so because her. That they're not going to stand for that. They're not. They're gonna say something that appropriation or whatever. A new report claims that Marvel Studios and Disney wanted to stay true to the character when finding an actress to play Miss Marvel for their upcoming Disney Plus series. That is not the real Miss Marvel. The report comes from Deadline's Justin Kroll, who also revealed that Marvel Studios cast. Go ahead.
Oh, who do you think is the real Miss Marvel? Carol Danvers or Monica Rambeau?
I would say by order of appearance, it would be Monica Rambeau. She's the original. And then I would say that Carol Danvers is next, but I would only say Carol Danvers in the black with the
with half of
the
a
thigh
half
high
hanging out. Yeah.
the thigh high boots.
Yeah, I think it's she was called Warbird back in the
At
past.
first, yeah. And then she became Miss Marvel. And that one to me is, the definitive Miss Marvel, just because the costume is iconic, and then the whole bit with Rogue, that stuff like really yeah, all of that adds to the character itself. But this hijacking that's happened, I don't know. And I mean, I still don't understand what the hell what good her powers are. Like, what is that supposed to do? I mean,
I
but
mean,
Yeah,
isn't Kamala's only power is that her hands get super big?
yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean, wow, your hand's so
she
tiny, you
technically
can just
is
fish slap.
she's technically Mystique. She can shapeshift to
oh,
every form or size, but she only uses her power to make her hands big, which
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean they have more mass. It's just a cosmetic change, you know.
right. That's what I was
The-
wondering. Like, what good does it do if it doesn't gain
no,
mass? If it doesn't.
yeah, no, she just becomes misshapen at will, basically.
And
Wow.
it's also cooler to see naked blue lady turn into whatever than little girl.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you make your hands big. Like I still don't get it. And if the mass nothing changes, how can she like lift the car? How can she like, I mean, none of
Like,
it
what are
Well,
you
makes.
no,
supposed to do? Bitch
Can
slap
I?
someone to death?
Yeah, can I use a
no one accused SJW writers of being smart.
can I use a pin and deflate your hands? I mean, I
I
don't.
mean,
I'm not.
technically, if you stab her with like a pin, their hands would probably deflate. I mean, she would probably revert to her original state. So yeah, she would like ouch and become small again.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah, just from the pain. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, like, what? I don't understand. I just don't get it. I really don't. And then it's like, you can do the shape shifting and all of that. It's like there's so basically you just made an what is she Muslim or whatever? You got to. That's not a race, but you got this Muslim mystique, basically,
It's the
but
representation.
not mystique, exactly right. It's what it always is. It's basically we need to commandeer. We're official police business. We're gonna commandeer your vehicle, and then we're gonna damage it and make it explode off the side of a cliff. And while we're doing so, we made all this attention on ourselves so that we can like give you our whole monologue, and then after that, you're not gonna, do anything. It's damaged. It's done. We don't care, as long as we got you to listen to what we had to say.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it. That's
I realized that superheroes under SJWs have become exactly what people who didn't like superheroes accused them of being. Because I
right.
remember, I think I probably said this before, but my favorite comic book is Martial Law. It's a 1980s comic book, British comic book, by the way, by Pat Mills and Kevin O'Neill. And it's basically it's the comic book that inspired The Boys. And Pat Mills, the creator's main criticism of superheroes is that they're like they gave people a false image of how easy violence and war and conflict is. Like, they just fly in with their bright color suits and fix it like with a snap of their fingers, which
Mm-hmm.
kind of lessens the real effort of real heroes like soldiers and cops and all that. And
Right.
that's and that it's like a clear pandering of a certain political ideology. Like back in the 1980s, it was like Reaganomics, like superheroes, where it's basically Rambo and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what they've become in the 2010s, 2020s. They become pandering propaganda pieces that make violence and strife and war make insultingly easy.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like the boys in a way,
Mm.
and that's it's so crazy because that definitely uh that attests. I mean, to me the boys is what if SJWs were superheroes
Yeah,
or had
yeah, no,
superpowers?
no.
Yeah,
Sax had a point when he said that Riri only worked as a villain because, yeah, I mean, her psychology is that of a villain.
yeah, yeah, and so That's what it looks like to me. I mean, it's actually a pretty decent show, but the thing is that's to me all it is really is what if SJWs had superpowers, you know, because it's all narcissism through the whole show. I mean, even the whatever her name is, the one with the light powers, even though she's supposed to be good, you know, but there's still like those tendencies there. So it's just she would probably be like if it was a relationship dynamic, she'd be the enabler, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean it's just ridiculous this way that they really, and then just to go in, dude. I'm not gonna go on too long of a rant here, but like, I mean, I used to go. I was the kid, you know. I'm 44. I was born in 75, and I was the kid who, well, to begin with, my mother was the one who bought me comics to begin with, right? And she would buy stuff here and there when it was a time that I was buying it. Before that, it was when I lived with my father, and I was trading. Like I would get baseball cards or whatever it is, and I would trade. And people would say, "Oh, all I have is this comic book," and so then it just kind of started from there. Moving on to like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Grimjack and then Nova and all that. So when I went with my mom, back with my mom though, she bought, like she went to a flea market that has a indoor, like a huge indoor area, and there was a comic book shop in there, and she bought a box. You know, she got me a pull box, and in the pool box was like, I think it was Amazing Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man, and New Warriors. When New Warriors had just, you know, barely started. So she brought me into that, and then it was, you know, the corner store, 7-Elevens and stuff, and the spinner rack, and then the poly bags with the 3 issues, you know. A lot of people like Micronauts, but I didn't, and I would always get pissed when I would get a bag and then the book that you can't see, the one in the middle that you can't see, was a Micronauts. I'd be like, I don't want a Micronauts, you know. But I was getting those, and then I was even buying like the Marvel, what is it called? The one with all of them listed in it and their powers and their origins and all that. Marvel Universe, I think it's called Marvel Universe something.
Yeah, I know which one you mean. Yeah,
you know,
I can remember that one. Yeah,
I used to love those, man. Every issue I'd sit there and spend hours just going over each character and looking at the illustrations and everything, and thinking about their powers, and they could lift so many tons, and you know, all that type of stuff. You know, and I was always geeked up on that stuff. But then to go from there and then into the 90s where it was just exciting, you know, and then to move, like when I got to a point where comics started getting expensive and I couldn't afford to collect anymore.
Yeah.
So then it was just more of just every once in a while I might pick something up or just reading the old stuff that I had already. But I lost a lot of that stuff. And then when it came to this stuff happening, I wasn't even reading like comics. And then it was me discovering Ethan's channel, and through him, your boy Zach. And then your boy Zach was the one that started, like I started seeing all these videos about what was going on. And I'm like, because at first when I saw his channel and I started to watch like a couple minutes of the video, I'm like, man, and then he'd be like getting all excited and yelling and stuff. And I'd be like, man, this dude is crazy. I'm not even watching this, right? So I didn't even give it a chance to like really see what he was talking about. But then when I did, and I fell in love with it, man, I was like, man, this is like, you know, and I'm like, why are they doing this? And then ComicsGate came along, you know. So after all of that coming full circle, and then seeing this type of stuff, it just starts to, you know, I don't get as much as I did back in like 2017, 2018, but like, you know, it's still kind of, sometimes it's just like, oh, what are you doing? You know, you took Marvel and DC, you know, for me, DC was usually like Batman, some Flash, and then Green Lantern, and you know, maybe Superman every once in a while. But Marvel, you know, was a bunch of stuff I liked in Marvel, you know. And then DC also when it was Milestone was huge for me. But
Mm.
but taking all of this and then just totally setting off multiple explosives inside and just blowing everything up, it's just sad. It really is, because there was so much there in all of the properties, and back with Stan and Romita and Kirby and Ditko and all these people that were doing this stuff. And, you know, it just is heartbreaking when you really think about it, because all of what was and what could have been, but isn't, because
What
of
really
them.
pisses me off is the total lack of respect for people
Yeah.
that came before them. Like, you know, that
Oh,
the old guys did everything wrong, and it's up to us, the newer generation, to set things right. Because superheroes, I've always said this: leftists hate superheroes. I was raised in a left, and whenever I would read it, not my parents, not so much, because my parents were more like moderate centrists. But back in school, everyone's a leftist, and if they ever caught me reading like superhero comic books, they were like, "Why are you reading those trashy American propaganda piece of shit?" You know, they don't like that. They think that Superman and Captain America are like fascist American propaganda pieces.
right.
So when they come along, knowing nothing about comic books, because that's their mindset, they're like, "Oh, we're going to rewrite all these characters that are badly made." You know, that's why
Yeah,
Ta-Nehisi Coates from Captain America into a traitor or whatever it is now. You know, because they think
yeah.
that
Oh,
Captain America is a
gosh,
bad character. They don't like
that
superheroes.
really,
Bad characters.
that's another one. Captain America was another one that I collected a lot, and that just disgusted me, because, you know, I always looked at, like, I never looked at Captain America like, I mean, I knew he was white because it's obvious, right? But like, but I never looked at him as anything more than a symbol of my country, like where I'm from, you know, and uh the and the fact that he was powerful was like I was powerful, you know, and it was like,
Mm.
yeah, when they say that, oh, we need to see ourselves represented in these, well, it's when you do surface representation, then it never works. But when it's ideals, when it's something, a motivation, that's different. So he represented to me like, man, you know, if I'm American, I'm powerful too, you know. And
Yeah, you
so
don't feel represented by the character's look. You feel
mhm,
represented by the character's actions.
yes, their actions, yes, exactly.
And
And,
I
and it
think
made me,
they also do the same with Black Panther
yeah, yeah. Black Panther was always
or
cool
Luke
to me
Cage.
because I'm
Yeah.
not, you know, and it's like, okay, I'm not from Africa. I don't live in Africa, you know, or any of that. But at the same time, it was like, it was like, it was literally like watching this, you know, powerful beast that was going out and like protecting everyone else, you know, and then he was always so mysterious, you know, and that was the other part that was so cool to him, you know, and you didn't need to know his personal politics or any of that type of stuff. You know, it was just cool, and he had these claws, and you know, all that, and he had these powers that came from, you know, the what you call it, and I mean, to me, that was all that what made him awesome, you know, and he was a king. You know,
Yeah.
he was already everything that they are now trying to say that they're not able to do or become. It was already there. And so what if a white man created him? You know what I mean? It didn't take away from what he was as a character, because he wasn't writing him to be you know, a washed over, a whitewashed, or you know, whatever, blackwashed or whatever character. He was just writing you know, a character that was this African king that, you know, can whoop your ass, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well, my journey into comics only started from the OG animated series, like the X-Men cartoon from the 90s and animated Batman. So
oh,
we're going back to your um, Black Panther. Like, aside from Wolverine, I was also a huge fan of Storm, and I didn't care. No one really pointed out to me that, well, she's black, so you can't be her, even though you're white as the pure driven snow. And I'm like, so what? She's cool. She has weather powers and she flies. I want to be like that.
Yeah. Well, when I was growing up and watching this stuff and reading these comics, this was at a time where, I mean, I grew up in Houston, and Houston at the time was like, other than white, the other races were black, and then there was Hispanic, but it was more so black at the time than it was Hispanic. So I grew up around that. I grew up, went to the schools, friends, etc. It was just natural. So, so when I saw characters like that, like I never thought of it like, oh, it's a black person is representing black people. I just thought it was a black woman that has storm powers, and I just thought that was cool, and I liked how her eyes would turn white, and I liked when she had the mohawk, and to me, that was it. That's all that I thought. I didn't think that any of the stuff they think now, or try to force everyone to think. And then at the same time, back then we were saying, like, as a matter of fact, one of our radio stations was like blurring the color lines or something like that, or we'd say all the time, we don't see color, and the only color I see is green, and so that's what. And we were being taught these things in school. We had posters and everything. And then all of a sudden, we come back around to 2019, 2020, or everything since 2016, and it's now we're people of color.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, it's no different than calling someone a colored person. So why have you gone from everything that was fought for to now going back to doing the same thing, and then you're segregating yourselves? That's just stupid. It makes no sense. But when they talk about California and how liberal it is and everything, all of that stuff makes sense to me, because having been in jail out there, in jail, it's very segregated.
Yeah.
They call them cars. So you're either in the white car, the black car, or the Chicano car, or the Asian car. So you're basically riding with these people is what they're saying. So that's what it always is. And your approach, like, what are you doing? Are you in the Chicano car, or are you in the Paisa car? So in other words, are you a Mexican American, or are you in the Mexican car? And things like that. So I can understand, I guess, why they haven't freaking gotten it yet. One of the places that has this high population of Mexicans, and yet they're like the most segregated. I mean, there's been actual black versus brown in California for like a long time. I mean, it stops every once in a while, but it's always been an issue. So, yeah, I don't know how liberal they can be. But anyway, it says Kroll detailed the plan was always to stay true to the character and finding the right actress to play the role, even if it meant offering a person that was not well known to the public. The report is interesting, given that Marvel Studios and Disney have had no qualms changing the races and genders of many of their other characters. So this is what we were talking about. She can make herself get bigger and everything, but how is it she has the strength? Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm not understanding, or.
Hold on. I don't know if it's the perspective, but is she still normal sized and her hands are big, or did she grow too, and her hands also got bigger to hold on to the train?
She grew because look at the train itself, like, and then the proportion of her hands. Yeah, her hands in proportion to her body. So yeah, she grew at the same time too. Yeah, because from that perspective, artistically, she wouldn't be that big under a train. I'm sorry.
So she can grow bigger, but she can also expand her body parts. What?
Yeah, she's basically Ant-Man. I mean, yeah, Ant-Man and Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Because I've seen her like become like a sheet, like really bidimensional in some, in some comic books. So yeah, I don't know. Her powers are really not really well defined. because
Well,
And I
she
still don't
got,
understand how that makes her Miss Marvel, though. I really don't. I don't get.
like,
yeah.
but
Why is she called Miss Marvel and not Blob or something like that?
don't
Yeah,
the other Marvels like fly and I think have like energy from their hands, right? I wish I could follow more on Miss Marvel, but I've been staying so far away from like the woke comic book since 2018, about
hmm
2 years ago.
So Bounding in the Comics previously reported that they changed the majority of the cast for the upcoming Eternals film. The only characters that are similar to their comic book iterations are Richard Madden's Icarus, Angela Jolie's Thena, and Brian Tyree Henry's Fastos. They changed Makari into a deaf black female character portrayed by Lauren Ridloff. Oh wow, okay. So you're basically gonna make her you wanted the representation, right? So now you're gonna make her black and female, and then you're gonna make her deaf, what is she gonna do? She's not gonna talk. So either you're gonna silence her black voice, you're gonna silence her her ethnic voice, or you're gonna make her walk around the whole movie talking like what's her name,
Marley
Mad
Matlin.
Marley Matlin, the whole hi, let's go get him. You're gonna do that. I mean, one of the two, but either
Or she
way,
could do sign language too.
yeah, she's gonna do that. Ain't it, Chief? And she's gonna do some
Yeah.
some Naruto sign
As
language.
as a slight hearing impaired person too, I don't think this is not representing. I do not wish to be pandered to.
Yeah. As you can see in his first appearance in the Eternals, #5, Makari is a white man who has no problems hearing. It says your mirror,
We
Cersei.
we
It
already
fun-
had our deaf
Uh-huh.
white man in Hawkeye.
In Hawkeye.
Remember Hawkeye went deaf.
Oh yeah,
And then
yeah. He sure
with
did.
little
Yeah.
hearing aids.
Yes. I remember that. It says your mirror, Cersei. It functions like a TV set. You're oversimplifying the facts, my dear Margot, but the analogy will do. As you can see, Makari there is a human with me. She is under my protection. If she requires protection, it should be from your humor, Cersei. Now, what is it that you want? Yeah, so
Typical
that
chatter back in the day.
yeah. Kingo was changed from a character of Japanese descent. He was already ethnic into Indian, played by Kumail
Kumail-
Nanjiani.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Are they talking about Nanjani or is it
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
different
Kumail Nanjiani. I think I pronounced
Yeah.
it right.
Nanjiani?
The guy who's not actually funny, but because
Who
he
is though? I mean, what can
he checked off some boxes, so he's considered hilarious.
He went woke, but then
Yeah.
he got swole too.
Yeah,
he got
swole.
Swole muscles.
Yeah, he got swole.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was. I
Because
just
before
yeah,
he had
swole.
like
He got
the
swole.
typical
Yeah.
I was-
skinny, he had like the typical like skinny body, kind of out of shape, and then he got like a 6-pack,
Yeah.
and he was showing it off on Twitter.
hmm As you can see in his first appearance, he dressed as a samurai. Hail, Icarus! I see that you and Makari have not yet neglected beauty in this grave hour.
Alex, you gotta say it. Hey, Icarus, I see that you and Makari have not neglected beauty in this grave hour.
Yeah, there you go. Read the rest.
That was a pretty good Japanese accent.
No, that's all he says. Fine,
Okay,
you want me to do the whole panel?
Yes, that's
Okay.
what I'm telling you to do.
Fine. So white guy, do like, nor have your sword. No, nor have you the sword, Kingo. Be as one Be as one with great Zuras. What's wrong, Margot? You look puzzled. So I'm trying to do like a dude bro voice.
He's
I
got
think-
the autistic
I
voice.
think male Makari would have like a dude bro voice.
Yeah. What's wrong, Margot?
Oh my
You
god!
look
Go down!
puzzled.
Go down! Go down! Go down!
What? They also
they
changed
really?
Ajax
Did they
into
really?
a female of Hispanic and Lebanese. What? Okay, now I'm
Salma.
convinced. Hold on, wait a
Salma
minute.
Hayek, not Selma. It's Salma Hayek. How
Yeah.
dare they disrespect my beautiful Lebanese Mexican queen?
Thick Latina. She's
so
the
here's the-
epitome of thick Latinas.
Yeah,
Easy
so
now.
Desperado. That's all I gotta say. Anyway,
From dusk till dawn, man. I can
mm.
help it. I have testosterone. It's not my
I'm
fault.
sorry.
Okay.
I
Canales,
I
Canales.
like From Dusk Till Dawn, but when it comes to her, it's got to be Desperado. It's got to be Desperado.
Canales, would you allow Salma Hayek to shove her foot into your mouth and then pour tequila down her leg?
Oh, okay.
Allow it. I would pay her to do it.
They also changed Ajax into a female of Hispanic and Lebanese origin, played by Salma Hayek. Here's the thing. Now I'm convinced that they have a wall in their writer's room, if you want to call it a writer's room, and they have all of these sticky notes with all of these different things on it, and then they just throw darts at it and decide let's make her Hispanic and Lebanese. And then they say, well, who could play her? And then they have their board of woke, all of the woke celebrities that they can choose from. And then, and James Woods is not on that list. So then they hit the dart and it's like, oh my gosh, Salma Hayek. I loved her in some movie.
Frida.
Frida. I loved her in Frida,
Because communist Mexicans, okay? Frida.
Yeah, exactly. In his first appearance, Ajax is revealed to have lived among the ancient Inca Empire and is even referred to as the Inca hero Tecumotzin, which is a fictional hero created by Jack Kirby. So he wasn't already so ethnic, so like deep. We're talking about Inca, like you're talking about super deep.
No. Here's a little point of contention as I'm being assimilated into Peruvian culture. Inca hero, but yet has an Aztec sounding name, Tecumotzin.
Right. Yeah.
If it would be more Inca, it would be something like Manco Capac or other hero, Pachacutec, Huayna.
The twin heroes of the Popol Vuh call, because those were Incas, right?
No, that's Maya.
Oh, okay. I stand corrected.
Yeah, so it says, which is a fictional hero created by Jack Kirby, as you can see below. He is depicted as a white man with the same skin tone as Icarus. I honestly kind of think that it's possible that may have been because of the process, the coloring process. Yeah. It may have just been easier and cheaper not to use a different shade and to just keep it all the same so that they wouldn't have to, pay for that extra.
Also, now looking at the panel, that does not look like typical Inca gear too. It looks more like a mashup between medieval armor and Aztec helmet.
And an Aztec cuckoo clock.
Yeah.
That thing that's coming out of his forehead. Which actually also reminds me of what is that thing called?
I'm also reminded of a Kachina doll from the Hopi people. They live around Arizona, New Mexico.
It's the thing that Orthodox Jews put on their head when they're praying.
Those things. I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to
or something like that.
Religions.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's what it reminds me of. Let's see here. Gilgamesh was also changed to be an Asian character portrayed by Don Lee. In Gilgamesh's first appearance, he was referred to as the Forgotten One, who once roamed the world among the humans and shook it to improve their lot. He also toppled the palaces of tyrants and slew the beasts they could not conquer. He was also a white man with dark, almost black hair.
What?
Well, this proves they don't really give a crap about making sense, because Gilgamesh was supposed to be like a Middle Eastern person. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
maybe Kumail Nanjiani could have played him. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Or they could have
Not an
picked up
Asian
like
guy.
someone from like Iraq would be more word
What's his name?
would
What's his
make
name
more
from the
sense.
Mummy? The guy who played Ardat Bey in the Mummy, in the 1999 version.
Um
Forgot his name.
Arnold Vosloo, he's actually German.
No. Yeah, no, yeah. Well, no, I mean the other guy, the guy who played like the good Arab
Oh,
guy who helps the heroes.
Oded Fur,
That's fair. Yeah, that's the way.
he's
That's the one.
Israeli, but it'll work.
I've
Okay,
been saying
I
that
don't know
that
who
guy
that
would have
is.
made a great.
I thought you were talking about the guy from Training Day that pretends he's a cholo, but his freaking accent is horrible,
Yeah.
and he
That's
can't even speak. He can't even speak Spanish correctly. He's
Cliff
something I
Curtis.
don't
He's
know.
Maori. He's Maori. He's from New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It says, finally, they also changed Sprite into a young female girl portrayed by Leah McHugh. In Sprite's first appearance in the Eternals #9, he's shown as a diminutive white man with reddish-orange hair. Oh, see? There you go. Get rid of the
Ginger
ginger.
eraser.
Yeah,
Ginger
ginger eraser. Yeah, yep. Getting rid of those gingers. These race and gender
Maybe he's
swaps.
Irish.
These
Maybe
race
he's
and
Irish too.
yeah, maybe the colors.
Surely,
maybe.
Josh Dumb One. Surely,
These
you Josh Dumb One.
These race and gender swaps in the Eternals are not the only race and gender swaps that Marvel Studios has made. The company has changed Heimdall, the Ancient One, Mordo, Ghost, Valkyrie, Hogan, Marvel, Ned Leeds, Flash Thompson, and Liz Allen.
Flash Thompson was a ginger, too.
Yeah. And who did they make? What did they make him into now?
It's a black
don't
guy,
remember.
a black
Oh,
kid.
No. That's the Indian kid.
Oh,
Isn't he the one that's always insulting Parker on the new Spider-Man movies?
maybe.
Yeah, that's him.
I know they changed the Ancient One because the Ancient One was from Tibet,
Uh-huh.
and well, you got to have your Marvel movies in China, and China don't like them Tibets.
Oh, okay. I did
So
not know
that's
that.
why we had bald Tilda Swinton instead of a Tibetan Asian guy.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I didn't really care about them changing Heimdall to Idris Elba, but I didn't really care. I thought it was pretty badass.
Yeah.
And Hogan I already pegged as like an Asian type. So
Yeah.
because in the comics he looks more like a Mongolian.
Yeah, I was going to say that guy looks Mongolian, and I don't know
Yeah.
what the relationship between Mongolians and Vikings would be, but I don't know. I think he looks cool with the hat and the mace and whatnot.
Yeah.
He's a warrior from the steppe. I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. I was trying to get this picture bigger, but I guess it's not gonna happen. Yeah, but this is the kid that plays him. That plays Flash Thompson. Yeah. I mean.
How the hell is that Flash Thompson? Can you picture that guy
like
playing
how
Agent
is he?
Venom in the movie?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't picture that at all. And then here's what's his name? Gosh, why do I always forget these people when I'm ready to talk about them? The one who was going to play Slade Wilson. He was going to play Deathstroke.
Yeah.
Or he did play Deathstroke in that cutscene. Yeah.
Joseph something, right? Italian guy.
Yes.
No, Joe Manganiello.
Yeah. Joe. Yes, exactly. Joe something. Yeah. That's crazy. So it says one has to wonder why they would want to find an actor that stays true to the character of Miss Marvel when they seemingly don't feel that way with many of their other characters. Yeah, exactly. It goes both ways. Why not make her, the original Miss Marvel? Miss Marvel is being written by Bisha K. Ali, who has called for internet conscription of men. In a Facebook post, she asked, "Can we do internet conscription for men? You got to enlist, buddy up with one troll each, and teach them to keep their vile threats to themselves." Wow. Well, we know this is going to fail. Wow. What? See, this is what I don't get is when they love to do this. These SJWs love to do this crap. They say vile threats. Where are the vile threats at? Please provide the proof of these vile threats that have been made to you. If they are, and you can give me an address, I will go over there myself and handle it. But I am willing to bet 98% that you're full of crap, and that there are none. You're just creating. I mean, they've done nothing but taken that thing that I guess you could say normies do, which is where they get on a Facebook and they say, yeah, I don't need anybody. I can do this all on my own or whatever, right? And then everybody rushes in like, what's wrong? What happened? And and it's attention. It's seeking attention,
And it's mostly like little beta males. Like if a fairly attractive woman or a woman who complains about something, you have all the little beta male orbiters already at her side saying, "Oh, my lady, what happened?
Yes,
Tell me."
Exactly, bro. They come running up with their sticky fedoras, ready, just ready. I'm like, dang, bro. And then and so when they do this here, they're doing it so everyone can say something, but yet they provide nothing. They provide no actual proof. It says in another she wrote, I believe women can burn shit to the ground and rebuild it into the anti-capitalist utopia of science and art and compassion.
Isn't that what they're doing in Portland and Minnesota?
Yeah, they're creating a utopia. You only have to look at Seattle and how utopic the chess was.
Well, look, I will say this in all fairness. I did pick someone up the other day that was from Portland, and from Oregon, and she says she has to pass through Portland all the time. She says, honestly, she says, she goes, I don't agree with any of the writing or looting or any of the stuff, at all. She's like, but to be 100% honest, she goes, even on the way here, I had to pass through Portland to go to the airport, and I didn't see anything. She says, I didn't see any burning going on. I didn't see any rioting, no protesting, nothing. And she goes, and the last couple times I've gone through there, I went through even at night, and we were worried about whether, there was going to be an issue. She's like, there was nothing out there. Nothing was happening. She goes, so I just don't know exactly if it is happening, or maybe I'm just missing it. She's like, but I don't know and why they're reporting.
Yeah, we had the same problem here in Basque Country because back in the 80s and 90s, ETA was really active and was killing a lot of people, but most of the time it was peaceful. Like maybe a couple of times a year, maybe 3-4 times a year, there someone would get killed, and a couple of times a month. There would be like riots and cars burning and stuff. But most of the time, 6 out of 7 days per week, it will be like just business as usual. So I'm assuming that's what's happening in Portland, and that's what's happening in New York and all these cities. Because I still, when I saw what's his name, Rick Moranis getting punched, it'll look pretty normal. I mean, people are still going to work. They're still going about their businesses. But when it happens, it really happens. It happens really hard.
Right.
People get assaulted, and even they even get killed. So I understand why people will get worried about Portland and all these places.
Well, she says, this is her post. She says, I believe in the awesome power of women. When we collaborate, we create a foundation of excellence. I believe women can stop all the horrible shit in the world together. I believe women can burn shit to the ground and rebuild it into the anti-capitalist while you collect a check from Marvel. Utopia of science and art and compassion. I think we're all striving for. See, that is an important piece right there. I think we're all striving for. That's that. Well, you don't want to be on the wrong side of history, do you? You wouldn't want, it would be a shame if, it's the same type of a statement. To make everyone step up and be vocal. Yeah, me too. Yes, I'm with you. I'm surrounded by women who blow my effing heart out every other day. One of you is off digging up and preserving human history in war zones. Another creates pixel perfect. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm going to finish this part right here. Another creates pixel perfect oil paintings that are so hyper realistic, my brain melts. One of you is fighting to help extract women from violent abuse and emotional trauma. One of you is fighting a war that's raging against women through intentional cuts and the degradation of our support and welfare systems. Oh, welfare state. Okay. So here's the thing. Let's see here. Preserving human history in war zones. Okay. Gets a paycheck. Creates pixel perfect oil paintings. Hyperistic gets a paycheck. One of you fighting help extract women from violent abuse and emotional trauma. An org, a nonprofit, still gets a paycheck. Fighting a war that's raging against women, intentional cuts and degradation of support and welfare systems. I'm lazy, but I can do research and I can type really well. So give me a paycheck to do this. It's like asking for a grant. Anyway, all getting money. So one of you centers Afrofuturism in all your beautiful words and art. One of you uses your power and privilege. Oh, so you're telling us they're white. To build platforms for those of us who don't. Wow. One of you is sick and thinks you are failing, but don't realize that you lift up every single person you talk to. One of you is constantly recommending women that some might consider competition to your peers and those above you on your career ladder. Wow. Career ladder. Careers have paychecks. Did she not already say anti-capitalist utopia? Okay? Anti-capitalist. You are all capitalists. No matter how you try to frame
Maybe in
Communists-
lieu of money, they get like a social credit. Ooh, a social credit. You get
Yes,
5 social credits
Oh my
today.
gosh. What do they say about time? They say time is money, right? Time is something that is also a form of payment. It's also a currency. So you are out for currency, whether it be social currency or time or whatever thing that you want. You are still out to be paid. That is the essence of capitalism. So you are not an anti-capitalist. Right?
Hot take. Communists are nothing but capitalists, dishonest capitalists. Because at least capitalists will tell you, I want to make money, I want to get rich, and there's nothing wrong with that. But these motherfuckers will be like, no, money is bad. Money to get rich is bad. That, pay me for it. Pay me for telling you so.
And yet, they are always the one in the stories who have embezzled money from the people they work for. They are also the one in the stories that make whisper networks who are really only out to take jobs that they want and to get what? Money. They're the ones who are always being called out for begging for sandwiches on Twitter and then taking the money from their campaigns and buying Nintendo Switches with them. So
I'm sorry, my dudes. I gotta kind of bow out because my tablet is about to die. So
no problem.
catch
Thank you
you
for
on the
coming
next
through,
stream.
Jazz. Yeah,
Yep,
definitely.
yep.
You're welcome anytime.
See you around.
Bye, Alex. Bye, Canalis.
Bye-bye,
Maybe see you
bye-bye.
later. Bye.
Bye.
Adios.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So these are the same people. They're all like, I mean, when you do this and you got to keep up with this standard of anti-standard that you have, at some point you need to pay rent. You need to make bills. You got things that you have to do, and when you've already done enough crocodile tears to all your friends to get them to help, who are now actually in the same boat as you and they can't help you, well, guess what? You have to get money somewhere, and where are you going to get it from? You're going to steal it. It's as simple as that. You're going to steal it, or you're going to find a way to fraud somebody out of it. Stealing,
What
same thing.
what really irks me about these people is that they criticize others for being materialistic, and yet that's all they care about. They measure people's happiness in money. They don't have enough money to survive, or education and healthcare in socialist countries is free. Yeah, but
Yeah.
free stuff or money or material belongings isn't everything there is to life.
Right.
There's such a thing as quality of life, as freedom, as happiness, but they don't understand that. They just understand money and free
Yeah.
stuff. They only understand material belongings.
Yeah. They are the type of people that go, to as a matter of fact, here's the one. There's an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm where they're making the Seinfeld reunion, and Larry David is seeing one of his friends who's shown up to the set, and he's taking food from craft services and eating. He's like, "Why are you even here? You shouldn't even be here." And it's and it's like it's the same thing. They want swag. They want things. Oh, look at this. They are so. It's so ridiculous how easily they can be. They want money, but at the same time, you can pine them with a Nintendo Switch. You can pine them with like a free T-shirt or a signed, whatever.
Yes.
And they're that they get a they get gas off of that. They get gassed up off of that, and help them to forget the fact that they have rent due. 3, 4, 5 months of rent due.
I mean, the only reason why they think they're socialists is because they've been indoctrinated. Same society that tells them that happiness is just a Nintendo Switch or an iPhone or the latest haircut, or a brand jacket. All this shit.
Yeah.
They're just they think they're communists. They're actually just corporatocratic socialists, as I like to call them.
Yeah. And it's really ridiculous because they're really no different. And what's the craziest part is, what's so sinister about who they are and what they do is one of like the how to call it, the most evil techniques of manipulation that there is, which is gaslighting. Because when they get these jobs, and what we found out about like the Whisper Network and all that, all it is they purely used gaslighting, right? And these dirty rat techniques where they, like a little rat, hide in the corner and listen and find out stuff about people.
Yeah.
And then they blackmail them. So they blackmail them, then they also gaslight people. Like if okay, this chick that's writing this article, writing this show or whatever she is, showrunner, whatever. She got, this is the modern day sleeping your way up for them, right?
Yep.
So before it was sleeping your way to the top, right? And men did it too. Because I lived in Hollywood, and there's plenty of powerful women in Hollywood that it's nightly boy toys and all that type of stuff. They're just as bad as a Harvey Weinstein. But anyway, So this is the modern day sleeping your way up, but yet instead, what they do is they come in, and once this diversity stuff got in enough into people's head and it permeated enough, that was the door that needed to be open and let these damn demons in, because once they got a foot in, they come in normal. They come in like they're normies, like, oh, whatever. And because not realizing that they're diversity hires, or even knowing, but yet what they do is they then utilize that position to start like a rat, sniffing around, looking for something that they can use. Or whenever it comes time that they're let go because they do subpar work and they're not creative and so on and so forth, because narcissists usually aren't creative because they don't really have emotions or any of the things that make us creative, right?
They derive all, they deviate all their creativity to their own power fantasies that make other people, they try to make other people believe.
Right. And so a lot of these people that are like Preston Poulter, who's a writer, right? That's why they're never really successful in those endeavors, because writing takes a lot of creativity, and they can think of an idea and they can write it. But the thing is, when they're doing it, they're only following steps that they learned in school.
Mm-hmm.
They're only following structures. They're very good at memorizing, so they will memorize, because of course, how else are they going to store all the information they get in their little dirty rat files? But they know how to write because they know structure, but that's why they never really achieve usually too much success as a writer, because they lack. That's all they have, is they have the structure and everything, but they don't actually have the real.
They don't have a soul.
creativity.
They don't have a soul,
Yeah.
and stories and characters need a soul.
They do not. They do not. And so then when they're in there, then they say, "Oh, so you're gonna get rid. It's because I'm Indian, or because I'm black, or because I'm whatever, right?" And so they play that card, right? And now that's the gaslighting. The gaslighting is playing that card. And that's what you do. That's and then it's like, no, I don't have any trouble against you, but it's just it's the work. No, it's because you're doing this, and so on and so forth. And then they start worrying. They talk to their lawyers, and they're just like, well, man, what if she goes out and she says all this stuff? She already knows all these things, and so on and so forth. And then that's when they do too. Then they start letting out little bits of information that they know. Oh yeah, I saw you when you came in here that one late night, and you was having sex with your secretary, or whatever, that they use on them, or like the what's his name, Tom King, and
I keep thinking about Max Bisayo and Sean Gordon Murphy. How Max Bisayo pretended to be Sean Gordon Murphy's friend just to have something, that she could use as leverage against him when the time. That's a total psychopath move, man.
That's exactly what they do. They sit there and a lot of them like to stare. They like to stare, and they like to watch your like how your face does certain emotions, and sometimes even mimic your word, like to mouth your words while you're saying them, because they're studying you. They're studying you and learning how to do what they can. They learn how to react in certain situations because they need to continue to mimic a normal person, so that no one around them realizes who they really are. They wear a mask.
Yep.
That's always a metaphor that's used for them. So then they get into this industry, and then they use that gaslighting and blackmailing, and that's how they get their way up. And yet these are the same people who tell us that we are fascists or Nazis, or that we're horrible garbage people. And therein lies the projection, because they're only talking about themselves. That's a nondescript, I guess is the word I would use, confession, because they're confessing who they are and essentially what they've done, because they pin it on us. They say, "Oh, you're just about money." They're about money. You're just a grifter. They don't fulfill campaigns. All of these different things that they accuse everyone of, that they do themselves. And I mean, and as soon as you start talking about their stuff, block, you know, you show screenshots. What about this? Block, you know, or they'll turn it around
that's the closest thing that they have to making you disappear. If there was a button that made you disappear from the face of Earth, they would not push
damn
it like
button would
crazy.
be that button would have to be repaired like every week because they'd be punching the shit out of that button. Yeah, they would just be making everybody disappear, and then they'll make each other disappear.
Well, that's how dictatorships work. When you're a violent person, you never run out of enemies. If you can find them in the opposite ranks, you find them in your own ranks.
Yep. Like that joke, what's that, from The Office when he's like, knock, knock, who's there? KGB. KGB who? We will ask the questions. You know? But yeah, that's the sickness, man. That's sickness. It's so horrible. And then in a way, I do feel pity for the fact that I know how it happens and where it comes from, you know, and that falls on the parents, you know. The parent, they get it from a narcissist parent. I mean, that's just where it comes from. And they're not born, they're made that way. And so I just can only imagine how horrible it I mean, because I was, you know, unfortunately I was raised in the same way. So I can only imagine how, you know, what terrible things happen and all the things that were said and done to them. And I mean, even like talking about Preston Poulter, that's a perfect example, you know? So just imagine what got him to the point that he's at. And then when they found out all this stuff about him, like, you know, I mean, I guess if you have a, you know, certain desire or things you want to do, I mean, that's between you and God. But at the same time, it's just when you act like alone by itself, I mean, you know, whatever is whatever, but it doesn't say as much as it does when you couple it with all the other things, you know. Then it forms a full picture, you know. Forms a full picture of what a person is. And just like one of my favorite movies now is The Invisible Man, the newest one. Because it is one.
Yeah, the one directed by the guy who directed Upgrade. Which is one of my favorite movies of the last few years.
Which one?
Upgrade.
Oh, Upgrade, yeah. Upgrade. And then he's one of the creators of the Saw series and Insidious as well. Yeah, he's really good. but I thought it was just going to be, you know, just like the typical thing that isn't even about it, that isn't even based on the actual, like none of those ones about becoming, like having a suit or a power to become invisible has nothing to do with the original book, which was about at that time, the height of racism and prejudice of a black man being basically invisible. You know what I mean? So, but other than that, but this movie has become my favorite because they totally took the movie, and then the suit and, you know, all the slick stuff is just a veneer to really present this story of a story of a toxic relationship between a narcissist and their victim, you know. And it's even much more sick and twisted when you realize that in reality, right, you have two different kinds of narcissists. One is the extrovert and one is the covert narcissist, right? The covert narcissists like to do everything in ways to where that they're not seen. They don't want you to know right away until it's too late, right? And so in that respect, they are invisible, right? So then it only makes sense that a narcissist's wet dream would be to actually be able to physically, literally become invisible. Because wouldn't that be such a treat that they could do all of this, I mean, beyond the meaning of the word covert, gaslighting and things and crazy making, which is one of the other terms, and make this person go insane. And everything in there, down to her, like to wanting to kill herself, to even though it was set as, she was tricking him, but wanting to kill herself, going crazy, ending up in prison. Eventually, that's what they want, is for you to end up dead, because covert, especially covert above extrovert, but coverts especially, those are the ones that they say are more likely to kill people, right? So they would rather you be dead, or at least in the very least, excuse me, homeless, destitute, without work. And we know this from ComicsGate and what we've experienced, right? So they want you to be out of work, no money, this, that, and that is like the what do you call it? The pinnacle. And what they do to her, what he does to her in this movie, is exactly all of those things that a narcissist really wants to do, and just the whole part of like her killing her sister, which really wasn't her, of course, but
Spoilers! Don't spoil the movie for me.
You haven't seen it? Oh my gosh! I thought you had seen it. The way you were talking, I thought you had seen it. Anyway, I won't say anymore. But the point is that, but making things happen, because that's what they actually do. Like when you break up with one, during the relationship, what they do is they start to make you question your own thoughts, make you question your motives, everything. And you no longer feel like your true self. And then they manufacture emotional reactions in you, because they feed off of them. That's the only reason why they do it. And they're bored, because without a lack of a soul and real emotions and remorse and all that, they need to experience it and feed off of it. And they do that by causing things to happen, like crazy making and gaslighting, so that you will have a reaction to it. And the reaction is something they want. They need it. They need to feed off of that, right? So they, in those relationships, they will do that to get you to look crazy, and they say one of the common things is that they will actually call you bipolar, and then they'll start to tell your relatives and other people around you, they're bipolar. And bipolar as a condition is that your mood just suddenly changes, right? Well, that's why they will call you that, because they have already, through the gaslighting, have over time eroded you in your control of your emotions, simply because you do realize, even if you don't know exactly, you realize something is not right, something's wrong, and you know that they lie, and you know that they hide things, and they do all this manipulation, and they gaslight you and tell you that it was you, or that you don't remember correctly, and so on and so forth, so that after time, then when something happens, immediately you know already that they're up to something. And then because of all this time that's gone by and this erosion, you then jump up, ow, you do this, and you go off, and then they say, see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
All you know how to do is scream. All you know how to do is yell. This is the way you are. What is wrong with you? And so now that they've manufactured the emotion in you, you've gone from normal to upset. And then it happens so often that if anybody sees this, right, then they would agree with them if they say something's wrong. They're bipolar. And it becomes like when you're in front of people, they just suddenly pretend, they do even more subtle things to make you react. But then they're like, why are you doing it? Why are you yelling? And it's this whole sort of
they will do that harsh thing that I hate, when you get really angry and you become justly angered by their bullshit, and they're like, shh, don't scream, you're raising your voice.
Yes.
And that makes me want to strangle them so hard.
Yeah, my ex would she would say, why are you being so loud? Everybody outside can hear you. They're going to kick us out of here. Like we're going to get a noise complaint. After she gaslighting me into getting upset, and then I'm knowing that she's full of crap and she's doing what she's doing, right? So then that's what she would do. She'd run immediately to that. So when in front of people and they do these things to you, it becomes sort of almost like this weird Michigan J. Frog situation where, like, sing, you were singing for me, when we were over here. Why are you not singing now, right? So it's the same thing. It's like you do all this stuff, look, really, she, like he says, I'm telling you the frog can sing. And in this case, like, I'm telling you she's evil. Look at what she does, but everyone's going to think you're crazy. No one's going to believe you because they have totally turned that part off because they know that they have the power in the fact that you are always the one to react. So they don't need to react, and
Right.
They can control that. But then there's certain things that you can do that will make them react immediately because it's just things that blow them up. They can't stand it.
Someone linked me the other day to a thing called the Greystone. I don't know if it was like the trick or whatever, which basically you act completely stone cold towards them, and that's something that I like to do with Twitter narcissists. I never let them get under my skin, and I constantly laugh at them. Man, they hate it. That they hate that you don't get angry, that they can't push your buttons. They hate that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I started doing too. I was just like, and then when I got like, what was it? I was being told that I totally, you have ruined me. That's what I was being told. You have ruined me. You wrecked my entire life. Total projection. So then telling me that, and I'm like, okay, how did I ruin your life? And I'm very calm. How did I ruin your life? You know what you did, this and that. I'm like, well, I mean, tell me what I did. And it's like, oh, this, and then I said, well, why are you getting louder? I'm not getting louder. I'm like, yeah, you are. You're getting louder right now. But I've learned not to, be so emotional anymore. I don't react to things the way that I used to. And doing that in a sort of almost a slight condescending tone, then it made it worse, and so eventually it becomes all that. I say, I'm gonna hang up because I don't need to hear this screaming. It's not, it's not good for me and it's not good for you. And I don't think that we should do this because it's not gonna, it's not gonna resolve anything. And then it was just like, oh, blah, 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 and F you and this and that. And then attempting to tell me things that she did while we were together, and I was like, oh, okay. I said, I figured that. And then I said, all right, well, you have a good night. And then hanging up the phone. So, and she comes and watches my stream every once in a while. When we did the Johnny's Law stream, when we launched the book, she came and did a super chat right that night. She did a super chat. And then later when it came up to the phone that I had that I got her on my account, and I needed to, and like I was telling her I needed it back, but then it was like talking about she wanted to help me pay on the phone bill or whatever because there was an issue with connection, which was other people were having it as well, and the phone went out. She's thinking, oh, you can't pay the bill or whatever. Totally not true. So then she offers the money, and then she's like, well, it should be this amount minus $10. I gave you that super chat. And I'm like, what does the super chat have to do with this? You know what I mean? You gave that super chat supposedly because of what it says, because you wanted to, oh, congratulations and good luck on your book and all that. So now all of that goes out the window all of a sudden, right? But that's just the nature of it. That's what happens. But yeah, so it's crazy. But I just, that movie, just like, I watched it again too the other day, and just seeing how, I mean, gosh, that is so scary really when you think about it. That's what made this movie scarier, is that if a person like that could get a hold of a suit that could do that, I guarantee you, every single one of those people that we've gone up against on Twitter, if they had that suit, oh my gosh.
No, it's obvious that they use all the power that they can get a hold on to hurt you. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why they contact your employers. Family. One of them even contacted my mom once on Facebook because
Wow.
that's really all they can do to hurt you. But if they had, let's say, a gun to your head, and someone told them, "Go ahead, pull the trigger, nothing's going to happen to you," there isn't going to be any kind of repercussion. They would blow your head off, and they would sleep like 8 hours, no
Yeah.
problem.
As soon as a person said, "Don't worry, nothing's gonna happen," boom, they would just pull it. They would pull that trigger so fast. So, and they'd sit there and do that crazy maniacal giddy laugh that, when they finally got to do, this thing, and they, man, bro, it's just sick.
LMAO. They will type LMAO on Twitter.
Yeah, LMAO.
That said, I think I need to head out because I have another stream
Yeah, I
coming
was
up
ready
at
to wrap it
9
up.
p.m. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's been great.
Huh?
That went well.
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah, yeah. We covered a lot of stuff, and Jez was on and Doc was on. That was pretty cool. Yeah, I like doing this. I can do things on my own, but from YouTube, from the formula, from the way I see things go, it's always better when you have other people on,
Yeah.
because if
Otherwise,
there's
it's just like a blog.
right, and then technical difficulties can happen, and then if that happens, then you can have someone else, bantering while that's happening, and at the same time, I don't mind promoting myself, but the mere fact that the channel exists promotes me already. And of course, I'm always going to put in stuff about my stuff, right? Or in this case, our stuff. But having other people on and letting them get their shine, to me, is so much more important, because then they can, get their stuff out there, and then people appreciate that more, especially if they already knew about them and like their stuff and fans of their work. Then they are like, man, yeah, they're promoting, and then they'll go and share it with other people, and that's always something
Yep.
good to look forward to. All right, man, take it easy.
Yeah,
Take it
man. See you
easy.
around.
Yeah,
See you on the
know it.
interweb.
Yeah, you know it. We're always around. All right.
Take care,
Peace.
man.
All righty. All right, guys. That's it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. Johnny's Law is going to relaunch. Yeah. I'm tired. I worked all night. All right, y'all. Take it easy. Peace.